Intelligence is frequently heralded as one of life's great blessings. It's the golden key that's supposed to unlock doors to prestigious academic institutions, groundbreaking careers, and a life filled with accolades and achievements. Society often paints a picture of the highly intelligent as individuals effortlessly navigating their way through life's challenges, always one step ahead. Yet beneath this glossy exterior lies a reality seldom discussed and often misunderstood. The truth is, being highly intelligent comes with its own set of unique challenges, complexities, and hurdles that are not visible to the outside world. It's a journey that, contrary to popular belief, isn't always paved with gold, but sometimes with uncertainty, expectation, and isolation. The mental and emotional landscape of those with high intelligence is intricate, marked by high expectations, a relentless quest for perfection, and an often unquenchable thirst for deeper meaning and purpose in everything they do. These individuals navigate a world where their internal experiences and perceptions can significantly diverge from those around them, making fitting in a puzzle that's difficult to solve. The very gift that sets them apart, their intellect, can also be a source of profound struggle. From the pressure to constantly excel and fear of failure, to the challenges of social integration and the quest for challenging stimulation, the path of high intelligence is one less about smooth sailing and more about navigating stormy seas. As we prepare to explore these 5 common struggles, it's crucial to approach them with empathy and understanding. Our aim is not only to shed light on these challenges, but also to offer solace and solutions to those who might feel isolated by their own brilliance. It's a reminder that intelligence, while a significant part of one's identity, doesn't encapsulate the entirety of the human experience. So, let's dive deeper into the lives of the highly intelligent, unveiling the layers behind the conventional wisdom that intelligence is an unequivocal gift. By understanding these challenges, we can foster a more inclusive and supportive environment for everyone, regardless of where they fall on the spectrum of intellect. You know how it goes if you've ever been called the smart one in your family or class. Suddenly, it's like you've got this invisible badge you're wearing all the time. Everyone starts looking at you like you're going to invent the next big thing, or solve world hunger by your next birthday. Pretty flattering, right? But here's the catch. It's also like carrying around a backpack full of bricks. That badge of honor comes with a ton of pressure. From the get-go, you're slotted into this role of being the achiever, the one everyone expects big things from. And sure, aiming high is great, but it's a bit like walking a tightrope. Every step, every move is about keeping up with these sky-high expectations. Mess up? Fall off? It feels like the whole world's watching, ready to see if you'll slip. Talk about stress. This constant push to meet and exceed expectations can be a real grind. It's not just about doing well. It's about always having to outdo yourself to prove that yes, you're worthy of that future leader label. And that's a heavy load to carry, especially when you're just trying to figure out your own path, your own interests, and heck, just trying to enjoy the journey without constantly worrying about the destination. The truth is, being seen as the next big thing is an honor, but it's also a bit of a trap. It locks you into this idea that your worth is tied to how much you achieve or how perfectly you perform. But here's a little secret. It's okay to just be you. It's okay to explore, to take detours, to find what really lights you up, even if it's not what everyone else expected. So to anyone feeling weighed down by those expectations, remember it's your path to carve. Take that pressure, acknowledge it, but don't let it define you. Use it as a stepping stone, not a barrier. And most importantly, don't forget to breathe, to live, and to find joy in the journey, not just the finish line. So, you're at a party, and everyone's going on about the latest episode of some show everyone except you seems to watch. And there you are, itching to talk about something a bit meatier, like that cool new scientific discovery you just read about. You try tossing it into the conversation, "Hey, did anyone hear about the new planet they found?" But it lands like a lead balloon. Awkward, right? Here's the deal. It's not that you're not into what others are into or that you think you're on another level. It's just that your brain is hungry for more than just the usual chit-chat. You're craving conversations with a bit more crunch, something to really sink your teeth into. But let's face it, finding those juicy, mind-tingling talks in everyday hangouts can feel like trying to find a lost earring in a swimming pool. It's not impossible, but man, you've got to do a lot of diving. This constant search for something more stimulating can leave you feeling a bit like an outsider, watching from the sidelines and wondering where you fit in this whole social puzzle. It's a bit like being a gourmet chef in a fast food world. You've got all these amazing recipes in your head, ready to whip up something incredible, but everyone else seems happy with burgers and fries. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that sometimes you wish you could find someone who gets excited about truffle oil and rare spices the way you do. What to do about it then? Well, it's not about pretending to be someone you're not or forcing yourself to love small talk. It's about finding your people, those who also live for the thrill of a deep dive into fascinating topics. And guess what? Thanks to the internet, finding your tribe might be easier than you think. There are groups, forums, and clubs filled with people who get just as jazzed about the mysteries of the universe or the latest tech breakthroughs. But don't write off small talk just yet. Sometimes, it's the gateway to deeper connections. It's all about giving it a chance, being patient, and maybe, just maybe, finding that spark in the most unexpected conversations. In the end, it's about embracing who you are, curiosities, deep thoughts, and all. Navigating social waters when you're wired a bit differently can be tricky, but it's also what makes you, well, you. And once you do find those people who speak your language, those conversations are going to be all the sweeter for it. So, next time you're feeling out of sync in a sea of small talk, remember, your tribe is out there. And in the meantime, who knows? Maybe giving the everyday chit-chat a chance will lead to some surprising new discoveries about others and yourself. Have you ever noticed how being really smart sometimes feels like you're carrying a huge backpack full of expectations? It's like, because you're known to be the brainy one, you're not allowed to slip up. This is where our friend Perfectionism steps in. It's like this little voice that constantly whispers, "You've got to nail this every single time." But let's be real. That kind of pressure? It's exhausting. The thing is, when you're super focused on making everything perfect, making even the tiniest mistake can feel like the end of the world. It's not just about wanting to do a good job, it's about this paralyzing fear that if you don't, you're somehow less than. This fear can be so intense that it stops you in your tracks. You might find yourself overthinking every decision or, worse, putting things off because you're scared to even start. Sound familiar? And here's the kicker. When you're scared to take risks or try new things because you might not get it right on the first try, you're missing out. Think about all the cool stuff that was invented by people messing up a bunch of times first. If they'd let the fear of failure hold them back, we'd be living in a very different world. This whole perfectionism thing also adds a ton of stress. It's like you're setting yourself up for a race you can never win because the finish line keeps moving. And that constant stress? It's not just bad for your mental health, it can make you feel lonely too. It's hard to connect with others when you feel like you have to keep up this image of being Mr. or Ms. Perfect all the time. So, what can we do about it? Well, it starts with changing how we look at mistakes and failure. Instead of seeing them as something to avoid at all costs, what if we viewed them as part of the learning process? Like, every time something doesn't go as planned, it's just another chance to grow and get better. Celebrating the effort and the journey, rather than just the outcome, can really change the game. Embracing this mindset isn't just about easing up on yourself. It's about opening the door to creativity, innovation, and yes, even more happiness. It's about realizing that being highly intelligent doesn't mean you have to be perfect. After all, some of the best stories, the most brilliant inventions, and the deepest connections come from those beautifully imperfect moments of trial and error. So, next time that voice of perfectionism starts whispering in your ear, maybe try telling it, "Thanks, but I've got this." Mistakes and all. Because at the end of the day, it's those experiences, the not-so-perfect ones, that make life interesting and genuinely worth living. All right, let's chat about something that's a bit of a double-edged sword for the brainy bunch: emotional sensitivity and empathy. You know, that superpower that lets you tune into how others are feeling, almost like you've got this emotional radar that's always on high alert. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. Being able to really get where someone's coming from, to feel what they're feeling, it's like having a direct line to people's hearts. It makes you great at being there for friends, at understanding complex characters in books, or even just picking up on the vibe of a room. But here's the thing. It's also a lot. It's like your heart is always open, picking up all these emotional signals, and sometimes it gets overwhelming. Imagine you're carrying around a sponge that soaks up everyone else's feelings. After a while, that sponge gets heavy, dripping with all the emotions you've absorbed. This can lead to what some folks call emotional fatigue. It's when you're so tuned into others' feelings that you start to feel worn out yourself, almost like you've run an emotional marathon. And then, there's this sense of helplessness that can sneak up on you. When you feel what others are feeling so deeply, you naturally want to help to fix things. But let's face it, we can't always make things better for everyone, no matter how much we want to. That realization can leave you feeling like you're stuck at a dead end, wondering why you have all this empathy if you can't use it to solve everyone's problems. So, what can you do about it? Well, it starts with setting some boundaries for your own emotional well-being. Think of it as putting up a little shield to protect your sponge heart, so it doesn't soak up quite so much. It doesn't mean you care any less. It just means you're taking care of yourself so you can keep being there for others without burning out. Also, finding ways to recharge your emotional batteries is key. Maybe it's spending some quiet time alone, diving into a hobby that brings you joy, or just being in nature. It's about finding that balance so your empathy and sensitivity remain the gifts they truly are, rather than burdens that weigh you down. Remember, having a big heart and a sharp mind is a rare and beautiful combo. It's about learning how to navigate the world with both, keeping that heart open while also making sure you've got enough in the tank for yourself. After all, your empathy is a strength, not just for the support you offer others, but for the rich inner life it gives you. So, take care of that big, brilliant, empathetic heart of yours. The world needs it. Let's tackle this last bit with a bit of a twist, shall we? It's kind of ironic when you think about it. You've got this incredible brain power, able to leap tall concepts in a single bound and solve puzzles faster than a speeding bullet. But here's the kicker. It's exactly that supercharged intellect that can leave you feeling, well, a bit bored. It's like you're on a constant scavenger hunt for something that'll actually make you break a mental sweat. Imagine you're a high-speed train, zipping through the countryside. Everything's a blur. Sure, it's efficient, but sometimes you crave the challenge of a steep, winding track, something that tests the limits of your capabilities. The thing is, when everything feels too easy or straightforward, you start missing out on that buzz you get from tackling a tough problem or learning something new. It's like your brain's itching for a workout, but all it's getting are leisurely walks in the park. This quest for a real challenge isn't just about keeping boredom at bay, it's about feeling fulfilled, like you're really stretching and growing. Without that, it's easy to feel like you're just going through the motions, not really engaging with your work or passions on a deeper level. So, what's the solution? First off, it's realizing that it's okay to seek out those intellectual mountains to climb. It might mean taking on projects outside your comfort zone, diving into new areas of study just for the heck of it, or finding creative ways to add complexity to tasks that seem too simple. The goal is to keep that intellectual spark lit, to ensure you're not just coasting but actively driving forward, exploring new territories of knowledge and skill. Another angle is to connect with folks who share your thirst for challenge. There's something about brainstorming with others who get it, who also feel that drive to push the boundaries of what they know and can do. Together, you can create your own challenges, support each other's growth, and keep each other motivated. In the end, it's about embracing the paradox. Yes, having a high intellect means you might have to work a bit harder to find those challenges that truly stretch you. But it's also what makes the journey so rewarding. Every new concept mastered, every problem solved, is a step toward fulfilling that deep-seated need for growth and learning. So keep chasing those intellectual mountains. Who knows what incredible views you'll find at the top. And hey, If you've found creative ways to challenge yourself or have thoughts on this whole paradox, drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going and help each other find those peaks worth climbing. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content that gets your neurons firing. Until next time, keep pushing those boundaries and exploring the vast landscape of knowledge out there.